Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Timeless Steel Garage. Man, I've been gone for like 6 weeks. I'm sure you guys have noticed, but I've been working hard, doing airplane stuff for the day job. And I just found out that I got the job I wanted for a long time. So I'm pretty stoked. Remember, kids, hard work pays off. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we're back on the Nova. And when I left this thing, the bumper fit terribly and we were out of parts. So while I was gone, we got a few more parts in. I'll show them to you. I'm Jimmy and this is Timeless Steel Garage. It's a little smoky in here. All right, well, we got the grill supports in from AMD. You know, I don't know why I never noticed this, but AMD is GM Restoration Parts certified. That's pretty cool. So we also got the hood latch support. We have this is the latch assembly, I think, for the hood. Yeah. So we have the hood release, but we don't have the pin and we don't have the retainer for the hood. We'll have to order those. All this came from Summit Racing. It's all AMD stuff. And then we got, what else we got here? We got the actual, we got the hood latches in, which are also AMD, big boys. We got one for each side, driver and passenger side. This stuff is not painted, which is kind of a bummer. But anyways, we got stuff to do here. We also have the hood. And you know, it's funny, it's good, I've told you guys this before, but I always think it's good to step away from a project, especially when you've been going hard, and just come back and look at it with fresh eyes. Because, you know, I'm looking at this thing now and I just don't like this line on the fender where it meets the door. You know, there's only so much. I'm not a body guy, so I have to do the best I can to align these panels, but I think I can suck this thing down a little bit. Maybe take a washer out of the top, add one to the bottom, put some tension on the fender and kind of force it to come down just a little bit and just make this line match the door a little bit better. I mean, if you've ever seen one of these Novas that's been untouched, their fit and finish was pretty terrible even when they were new. So I would just like to get it a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. So we have the grill support that goes here, the grill support that goes here. We have the hood latch support that goes down right here, and then we have the hood latch here. Now, if you remember the bumper, I'll show you guys where we were at with that. And what you can see right here is I have to take all that metal out of there to get a little bit room on the bolt, and I need to hog this out a little bit more here. And I'm hoping that that gives us enough to make the bumper fit better. If not, we might have to get another set of brackets, but I think we can make it work. So that's that. We still have the hood brand new, and I have the gas tank back there that I can test fit. We need to get straps for that and rubber supports. We got the fuel pressure regulator. I have some 3/8 aluminum hardline laying around, but I don't think I have any fittings. So we'll have to order stuff for that. But man, it just feels good to be back in the shop. And you know, we got the bathroom built back there. And also we left off on the Mercedes. If you remember the PCV system, I still have that fitting freezing in here. I got to take the driver's side valve cover off, drill it and press that in. So I'd like to get to that as well. But for now, let's get back on the Nova. I want to make some progress on this thing. All right, so it looks like to me there's like a half moon shape right here that kind of corresponds to the back of this bracket. So I think this goes in there like that and then bolts through from the back side, and then there's a bolt on the bottom side of this grill support here, right there. So I gotta find screws that fit on this and put that on the other side. And these are side dependent. This is the right hand grill support here. I'm gonna dig through the bolts here and find some that match. Okay, like I said, I'm not a Nova specialist, so I'm kind of figuring this car out as I go, but I found these bolts here. They fit pretty good. So that should enable us to at least get this piece mocked up in here, and then everything should line up. It makes sense to me, but I'm gonna get this one in here. This is a little bit different shape on this side, and the bracket's a little bit different, but I'm gonna mock these up and then kind of look at the grill and see if what we have here is making sense. Doop-a-dee-doop boop boo. Boom bop a doop doop. Let me see here. Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is right. Gonna go through the back side of the core support and just try to get these started by hand so that they don't bind up. Everything is just a manhandle job with this. You know, that actually worked out pretty well. What's odd to me is that the bottom of this bracket doesn't have threaded holes, and neither does the bottom of the core support right here. That's just open, so that's gonna be some kind of bolt and nut combo. I think on this side, you can see the half moon shape is still here, but it's not that way on the core support. But it kind of lines up the same way. A little tighter on this side. But I'll get the bolts and get that started. Okay, let's see if I can get this started on this side as well. The nice thing about all these body bolts is that they're tapered, so they kind of guide themselves into the nut. But all this sheet metal is just has to be forced to be happy. Okay, got the top started. And I believe the grille on the original car was riveted. So I'll have to look at that. Yeah, this side is a lot. This side is a lot tougher. Okay. Okay, so both of those fender support brackets are in now. I'm wondering if I bring the grille out, if it makes sense. Let me see here. This is gonna go behind the plastic piece. Oh yeah. Oh, heck yeah. It makes complete sense. Hopefully the grille lines up with the back of the plastic piece pretty good. Well, it can be forced to. This whole front end is a force it to make it kind of thing, but once I get it all kind of mocked up, I can loosen everything back up again and try to make it happier. But I'm super happy that grille's sitting right in there. It looks like, so if it looks like to me, there's a bolt here, and the same on the other bracket. And then there's two bolts right here, and I bet you that hood support bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. How much you want to bet? So let me get some screws and mock this grille up. How about that? Okay, here, let's get this guy sitting in here. Definitely don't want to damage this grill because this is the money shot, you know what I mean? This thing, I don't know why, but I feel like putting this grill on is it's a Nova now, you know? It's bringing the character of the car out. Well, I just want to get these 2 bolts in here so that I know the grill isn't going to fall off or get damaged. But I mean, would you just look at that thing, dude? Look at how much more mean the car looks with that grill on it.
Look at that. Kaboom!
Now, I bet you if we just get this hood latch assembly and just kind of check it out here, I bet you it lines up pretty good. So it looks like this. Now, does that sit on top of there like that? I don't know. It seems like that's where it wants to be right there. And maybe there's a spacer that sits under here to the grill. Or maybe it's supposed to bolt right to the top of the grill like that. I doubt it. Might have to put a shim pack on each side. Yeah, the holes all line up. They just need, it needs to be like a pack of either a spacer or some washers right there. I'm gonna have to look at some online stuff, sketches, drawings, see how that's supposed to work. And then we got this hood latch support, 68 to 72 Nova. I'm not quite sure yet how this goes on. I might have to look at some online pictures. I feel like something like this. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it looks like this is gonna go behind the grill, attached to the grill in 2 spots, and then the bottom of the core support. Oh yeah, that lines up pretty good actually. Okay. Looks like we might have to massage some holes a little bit, but if you look at back here, there's a hole on the grill, and then there's another one down there at the bottom of the grill. So this sits underneath. It supports the top and bottom of the grill, bolts to the bottom of the core support. And then I'm not sure what this half moon shaped hole here is for. I don't know if that's just a machining hole. I'm sure it supports something. The back side of the hood latch maybe. But yeah, that'll work. And I don't know which side is which on this grill. Rocker molding clips, okay. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so it looks like there's gonna be some plastic clips on the fender. There's a screw hole right there that lines up perfectly. Okay, yeah. So this is the support for the headlight. So the grill support here actually doubles as the support for the headlight bucket too. And it looks like if you take this thing out, you can see there's square holes here. I think that's going to be some kind of a plastic threaded clip. Can you guys see that? There's square holes right here. And then circular holes on the actual grill. Let me show you. All right, so you got the squares here. I think that's probably a piece of plastic, an insert that uses a screw. I think I saw some of those. And then we've got a headlight bucket support here and a bucket support here. So this is all coming together. It makes sense. I found this hardware here, which I think is what's gonna go into those blank holes that weren't threaded on the bottom of the grill support bracket. So that's gonna tie in the metal support that's under this plastic into the bottom side of this grill support bracket. So to give it all structure, I think it's actually going together pretty well. I was worried this grill wasn't going to fit worth a darn. My only concern is the plastic holes behind the bumper finisher here, but those can be massaged pretty easily. So if I have to hog those out, I can. Okay, that worked out pretty good. So the 2 bolts that hold the back of the grill support are threaded. They have welded nuts on the back of the bracket. But this one here on the bottom of the grill doesn't have, but it looks like that worked out perfectly. Just, you can see it there. It's a bolt, lock washer, and a nut. I'm gonna leave that loose for now, but I got both sides in. So the good news is all the critical structure bolts line up, and I gotta look at what goes on with the top of this grill here, because there used to be, I'm pretty sure these are rivets, and I gotta see what goes up there because I'm not sure. And then back here, you can see this plastic piece is going to end up being, I think these were rivets originally, but we'll have to see. But these are going to be attached to this grill somehow. I'll have to take a look at that, but you gotta see it free floats here. We don't want that. We want it even across. This will all have to get taken back off to be painted, but I'm doing all the hard stuff for the body guy. At least get it in one piece, you know what I mean? But okay, moving on. I was really worried about this grill, but so far, knock on wood, it's going together pretty well. So let's I'm gonna try to get this hood latch on, or this hood latch support. And this is the same thing. It's not, this hood latch support doesn't have any nuts welded to it, so I'm going to use the same hardware the whole car has and see if I can get this thing on. It looks like it just, I'm fairly certain that this just goes behind the grill because it's not notched. Yeah. So the tricky part is going to be the lower part of the grill, because it looks like it goes into, for now, okay, so there's a threaded bolt on the bottom. So I'm going to get a bolt into the bottom, and then I'll show you guys more what I'm talking about, because I don't want to force this stuff right now until I confirm on the diagrams what it's supposed to look like. But this is fairly obvious, so just gonna get it started, and then get the top bolt in, and then I'll show you guys. This might be a long bolt that goes here, because I think this is going to get in the way of the hood latch. So if you look here, this bolt's in here, and then this bolt all the way down here, that's actually threaded into the core support. So, and then there's a bolt that goes here, and then one that goes in the bottom of the metal support for the finisher. So there's 2 bolts that aren't in there yet. My concern here, I gotta look at the diagrams to see how this is gonna play out, because if I take this guy right here, this only makes sense to go on one way. And okay, there's the hole in that upper support bracket, so that's where that's going to go, which you can see how well that was drilled. It's not even a hole. I'm going to have to drill that. And then these top 3 make sense, but that sits right on top of the head of that bolt, so I'm assuming that bolt has to go through the latch and the grill. So I'm going to take this bolt out. I'm going to drill that open a little bit. And then I'm just gonna mock this up here, and then we'll have to reference the interwebs. All right, so I found this picture online, which definitely shows no spacers at that upper grill, and it definitely goes down into the support, and it also shows that there is no bolt in the middle there. I also figured out that the bolts that I'm putting in the bottom of the brackets on the grill brackets and the bottom of the hood latch support are about twice as long as they're supposed to be. So I'm definitely missing a bag of hardware with those shorter 5/16 bolts, which isn't an end of the world on, you know, if they're too long. If it's not like it's we're going for complete original car here, but I would like to see if I can find some. I think I did find these. I think these are for the headlights, those plastic pieces I was telling you about. But all these bolts are about, they should be little stubby ones for the bottom of the grill there. And you know, it could just be these aftermarket ones just don't, they're longer than they need to be. Because I don't see any short stubby ones, even in the Riviera hardware that I poured out. But you can see this is my nightmare right now, trying to assemble this car with hardware that I did not purchase, but I'll figure it out. Okay, I did some research, and it looks like the bolt into the clip style nut is what's supposed to happen up top here. And it does look that once this is bolted down, I'll be able to force the grill where it needs to sit. So once this is all mocked up, it'll have to come back apart to get painted, so it at least doesn't rust until he gets the car painted. But yeah, a little bit of science and experimenting going on here and figuring this stuff out. I think for this one on the bottom here, the grill, I think this is gonna have to be nuts on both these pieces because you want it to sit flush on the grill. So we shall see. So that's essentially how it's gonna sit. I gotta look at these two bottom pieces here and see what hardware specifically goes here and here, but I'm thinking that it uses those clips on all the pieces. It might use a nut and a washer here, but I wanna get this right. But for now, that's that. And on the hood side, there's gonna be a raised piece with a pin that hangs down, and that's what's gonna go in there. And you can see that there'll be a bolt here on the support, and then there's another bolt that we haven't put in down here on the back side of the bottom of the grill. So that should give this whole centerpiece all of its structure, really. This is heavy duty. That's not but yeah, I just got to make sure the hardware's right. I don't want that to be wrong there because it'll affect alignment of the hood and everything else. Okay, I've done some research and I figured out some stuff. So I knew this whole assembly was going to have to come back off to install it the right way because you can't get access to the back of these here, but I wanted to have this mocked up to make sure that it was all going to work together. So now I can kind of mark some of the holes that need to be oblong before I take it all off. Let me walk you through what I figured out. So basically, this whole front end's held together with those clips, but there's a hardware kit that we don't have that specifically has those clips for the back of the plastic here for all those holes, and they're small bolts. And it also has clips and bolts for the front here. And there's a upper reinforcement piece that goes on the grill here. It actually goes on the underside, I believe. And yeah, it goes on the underside to make room for the latch here. And it just reinforces this grill, gives it strength. We don't have that piece. And I think originally it was held on with rivets. I don't know if the aftermarket ones are, we'll see. Got to do some research. So basically the way that this whole assembly gets installed is the grill brackets here come with the grill. They stay attached to the grill. This bumper finisher and the lower reinforcement plate, this whole unit comes off as one piece, which requires you to loosen the fenders up, move them out of the way, and you slide this to this all out as one unit. It'll have the brackets attached here, the brackets attached here, and I'll probably leave the reinforcement plate for the latch at least attached by one bolt, and we'll just leave this attached. We'll take this off the car. But I also found out before we can put the side grille assemblies on, we got to get the headlights in. And to do that, there's a spring that's got to go here. There is 2 plastic pieces with adjusters that go here, and then there's side specific headlight buckets that we don't have. I haven't seen any headlight buckets. I got to go through the trunk and the parts that I have left, but we're running out of parts, so I think I would have seen them. But they're side specific, so I need a right hand and a left hand headlight bucket, an adjuster, 2 adjusters per side, and a spring per side. And then there's a trim piece that goes around the headlight bulb, and that holds it into the bucket, and then that spring attaches to the trim piece and holds it into the core support. We need all of that stuff before we can put the headlights in to finish the front end assembly. So the bottom line here is this whole front piece has to come back off. I have to get the upper reinforcement, the headlight stuff, and the hardware kit that goes with this. But at least now we know how it all goes together, and we know it will work. So that's good. I'm also need to order 2 bumpers for the hood, a hood pin, and a hood pin retainer assembly or bracket. We already have the latch, the springs for the fenders there. So, well, we're 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but this is how it goes. We got to order some more parts. And but now that we kind of understand how it all works, this will come off and go together a lot quicker now that I figured that out. And then I need to fix that bumper assembly, and hopefully after this next parts order, this whole front end's going on, the hood's going on, and it'll be a complete car. So it just takes time. Okay, well, I'd like to continue working on it with what I have. So I noticed that these hood supports are not painted or anything either, which is a bummer. Like, why sell a part that is going to rust immediately? Like, put primer on it or something, you know what I mean? But we can at least get this mocked up, and once I know that everything fits, I'll probably take the hood latch off here, and I'll take the hood springs and everything and take those off and paint them, but gotta make sure everything fits first. I think that these are the correct bolts. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. All right, there's one side. Interestingly enough, these hood hatch hinges say 68 Chevelle or 68 to 72 Nova, and I did not know that the Chevelle and the Nova shared the same hood hinges, but why not? It's so frustrating when you don't have the parts you need, and every project I build, doesn't matter which one it is, never have all of them. It's just the way it goes. Part of building cars. There should be. Man. Okay. Well, we have hood hinges, so we can mount a hood, but I don't really want to do that until the grille's on, because we're gonna have to loosen these fenders back out, and if the hood's on, it's just gonna make it a huge pain in the butt. So unfortunately, there's no point in putting the hood on until the grille's assembled. But what I would like to do is raise the car up and just test fit the gas tank, make sure that that's gonna be okay. And I know we need straps for the gas tank, but I want to kind of get a bunch of stuff in the next parts order. Okay, looking underneath the car, the original rear mount bolts for the straps are still here. I can probably tap those and use them. There is the rubber strip still on there from the factory for the upper side of the tank. And we still do have hard lines, although they've been sprayed with trash. I don't know that we're gonna use those. We'll see if we can. They're probably too small. But anyhow, we definitely don't have the straps. I'll probably get straps and a hardware kit. Don't know what that is. Probably something to do with the fuel system. But, I mean, it did a nice job with undercoating this thing, and let's see if we can get the fuel tank up in there and just make sure it's obviously gonna fit in the right one and all that good stuff. This whole fuel tank came from Aeromotive, and it's a nice unit because it's already set up for high horsepower engine swap applications. It's already coated. It's already got the fuel pump and everything inside of it. So it looks like it is going to be perfect fit. We just need the straps, the rubbers, the gas cap, and the hardware. If you can see this thing, it already comes with Aeromotive pump in it and everything pretty much ready to go. I think it flows 800 horsepower if I remember right from looking at their website, but not sure. But okay, it's obviously a 71 Nova tank. So we got that going for us. And let's see what other fuel system parts that we have. Let me see here, I can show them to you guys. We've got the 10 micron fine filter. We're gonna need I think that the filter in the tank's already filtered. We'll probably add a 100 micron filter too. Got a fuel pressure gauge for the regulator. And those of you know me for a while, I like these Aeromotive fuel pressure regulators, and this one here is the exact same one I used to have in my 70 C10 known as CAT. So we've got a regulator, a gauge for the regulator. We've got a 10 micron filter. I want to put a 100 micron filter on here as well to keep the trash out of the injectors. So we'll have to see where we're going to mount this stuff. I am going to do 3/8 aluminum hardline, I think. I don't know. I'll have to measure the factory stuff, but I don't think, yeah, they look too small. So we'll have to run new fuel lines. But I don't know. We can at least maybe follow the factory routing. But this stuff's it's rusty and it's got stuff sprayed inside of it, and with this fuel system we should be able to simplify it significantly compared to the factory fuel line routing. So that's probably what we're gonna do, because I don't really care about making it stock. It's not a stock car. It's got a Tremec in it, an LS3, all that kind of stuff. So well, I think that's all that we can do for now. Maybe I can test fit the hood, but I really don't want to because I'll take it right back off. I'm gonna check the trunk for headlight bucket. Parts, front end. So we need the upper grille reinforcement. We need the associated hardware. We need a grille hardware kit, period, because the front end assembly kits don't come with it. Grille hardware kit, that should have the clips we need. I'm just gonna put parentheses, bumper finisher clips to remind me to make sure that it has them. Okay, so grill hardware kit. We need hood stops for the hood. So hood stop, hardware, and rubbers. We need a striker pin for the hood. So a striker pin and bracket for the hood. Headlights are, we need everything. So we need the headlight bucket and hardware / adjusters, both sides. That should be 2 springs and 4 adjusters in that hardware kit with clips, with plastic clips. What else do we need? I guess the wife's home. We need headlights themselves. And then for the fuel tank, we need straps, rubbers, hardware. We also need a fuel cap. We need a 100 micron filter to protect our injectors. And we need 3/8 hardline and fittings. So that should be our next parts order. And unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to go in the house, start getting these parts ordered, and that'll be it for today. So keep watching on this Nova. It's frustrating when we gotta, figure it out as we go and order parts, but that's part of building cars. Every project's that way. So we'll see you next time on Time with Steel Garage. We're gonna keep hammering away on the 71 Nova. Tell your friends, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps us out. And if you notice, the channel's grown quite a bit and it's continued to grow, and I really appreciate the support. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.